Hello everyone, and I apologize in advance if my voice sounds absolutely awful. I am getting over COVID! Yay! Anyway, what I am bringing to you today is something that is very dear to my heart. No, it's not Workhead Judo. And no, it's not the Lolly Rock reboot I've been talking about doing. It is indeed Bungo Stray Dogs. I fell in love with this anime at the ripe age of possibly 13. So it's been a few years since I've seen it. And with the new season that recently came out, I wanted to honor it by redoing a few of my old OCs. 3, to be exact. There used to be more than that, but I cut 2 OCs down because I didn't really like them anymore, and they weren't really connected to the story in the way I wanted them to be. So I'm doing 1 Mafia member, 1 guild member, and 1 detective agency member, sort of. All of them are connected to authors in one way or another, whether them being based off of authors or directly connected to one via one of their stories. And so, I hope you enjoy. Please do not get mad at me for my choice of author like my sister did when I told her I was doing this. I love you, sis, if you're watching this, hello. But please, enjoy my insane rambling about authors I like.
This loves you. That's manipulation. Going door to door, neighborhood indoctrination. I don't care what your little book says. What part of that isn't getting through your head?
As a teenager, Ito was a member of the sheep gang that Chuya ran before joining the mafia. This is where he learned to be a good spy, and eventually became one of the best spies in all of Japan. He had to learn how to steal and fend for himself so he could take care of his 2 siblings, Suichi and Tomei. After the sheep broke up, he was renowned for being one of the most feared and best spies in Japan for his ability Blood Bubble. This let him control people and even his own blood. He was hired by Chuya to infiltrate the ADA and gather information. Of course, though working with and having a past with Chuya, they kind of became a thing, which does not end well. When Chuya became a vampire and drowned, we don't know if this actually happened or not, Ito goes after Dazai, of course, and pretty much makes a giant commotion about how his ability could have saved Chuya. So, Junji Ito is one of my favorite authors when it comes to horror manga. I am so engrossed with his work. You can kind of see that with the backstory I gave him within Bungo Stray Dogs. Do I ship him with Chuya? Yes, I do, if that is not obvious by the backstory I gave him. Am I ashamed of that? No. Completely not, because Chuya is my favorite little gravity boy. I apologize for my fanboying. So, Ito does no longer look like this. I did switch up his outfit a little bit, considering I now made him a spy and not just a rough and tumble member of the ADA. His ability also changed. It used to be that he could just crystallize blood, but now he can pretty much do anything with it, including throw blood bubble bushes.
I'm sexy. Don't call, just text me. Bitches slow, can't get on my speed. They stare cause they know I'm the ITGIRL.
Stephen King is a member of the guild, and one of the most arrogant and well-known members of the guild, considering he is a well-known animal tamer and a bit of a fire starter. He's the second archivist of the guild and mostly stays out of whatever beef that they have, except when it comes to the ADA, of course. Similar to Poe, he is more of a neutral party within the guild, not really having any beef with any of the organizations. He's a bit arrogant, a bit egotistical, but if you lay a hand on any of his animals, you will be burned alive. That's simply how he works. I am well aware that Stephen King is already in the show, but I did not like what they did with him. The fact that they made him a violent maniac pissed me off being a little bit of a fan of King. I like his works such as Carrie. That's my favorite, of course, the first one that comes in my head. I haven't seen all of the movies, I haven't read all of the books. Carrie's the only book I actually have read. But my sister, on the other hand, who is a bit of a fan of King as well. This is the one that she got mad at me for turning into a, quote, sexy anime man. I even made it that she didn't want to read Cujo, because obviously Cujo's in the drawing! So, King is a very difficult character for me. He doesn't have a solid backstory, considering I did not touch on anything in his backstory, except for his personality and the fact that he loves his pets. And he also does not have a set ability. I do describe him as a fire starter, so I'm kind of leaning more towards the Carrie / fire starter ability of just being a pyromaniac. Also leaning towards the animal communicator, but I think I am going to go with the shining ability he already has within the show, and just try and forget that the version of him in the show even exists. I don't know why it pisses me off so much, but here is Stephen King and his puppy. He does have a lot more animals than Cujo. He has a cat, a whole bunch of animals because of Pet Sematary.
I'm obsessed with you. I don't mean to scare, but you're just so cute.
Pluto was once a member of an organization called the Wolves, which is ran by a man called the Doctor. He recruits children from all over the world with powerful abilities to work for him, and Pluto was one of them. His ability is called Black Cat, which is technically the same as Asushi's ability, except he turns into a panther instead of a white tiger. One day, the guild came to make a pact with the wolves, and Poe found Pluto. Over a small time the guild was there, the two gained a father and son relationship, and Poe adopted Pluto out of the wolves, who were not treating him very well to begin with. Pluto had a very Cinderella transformation, going from rags to riches. He helped Poe write his novels and even inspired the Black Cat story. Later on, once the guild was reformed, Pluto came to the ADA a lot more with his father, and grew closer to Rampo and Tanizaki specifically. He soon grew a crush on Tanizaki and also started to see Rampo as a second father, which eventually became true when Rampo became his stepdad. If you know me personally, you know full on well I could not leave Poe alone. He's a baby boy, and so I gave him a child. I did make Pluto adopted. Originally, Pluto was just his assistant, and at one point his actual child, but considering Poe is only about 20-something within the show, thought it would make more sense if he adopted a child instead of having a now 18-year-old child. So, Pluto wasn't always Pluto. They used to be Riley Edipo, which was my self-insert, until I decided to follow the actual formula of the show, and that characters such as siblings or children would be directly inspired by the stories the author had wrote. And so I chose my favorite, the Black Cat, and created, or revamped, Pluto, Ebony, Poe. And here they all are, the before and after of my main 3 Bungo Stray Dog OCs. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. I know I had a lot of fun rewriting and redesigning them. So without further ado, I'll see you on the flip side. Bye! He is a bit of a mischief maker. This was the Plue! Did I just call Poe